Hey golfers, are you tired of being confused on what to do in your backswing? What do all the best players in the world do to make them hit it farther and straighter every single time? Well, I'm about to change your life. Stick with me in this video and I'm going to show you how to properly pivot to bring all those elements together, okay? Be sure to like and subscribe to Team KSG for weekly content, and let's get started. Hi folks, Kevin Stull here. I'm the Director of Instruction at the Club at Old Hawthorne. I'm a PGA member and Master Club Fitter with Callaway Golf. Welcome to my channel. So let me ask you a question. If your belly button was your center of mass, and I told you to shift your weight without really moving your belly button, how would you do that? Well, that's today's video, okay? We're gonna talk about how to properly pivot in your swing the correct way without shifting your body one way or the other. Okay, so a lot of people will talk about right off the bat, hey, how do I get my weight shifted from one side to the other? You'll see a lot of rocking exercises and things like that, right? The problem with most of these exercises is that it causes people and teaches them to sway and slide, just like so. And that's not going to be consistent for your overall game. Every single one of those tour players that you see pivots in the correct way. And what I mean by that is their hips and their shoulders turn around their body without going to the outside of their feet or back towards their target. Now, how do they do that? Well, I put down a grid here with alignment sticks to kind of show you exactly the correct way to do this. So for instance, when we want to have a good shoulder turn, our goal here is to get those shoulders to a 90-degree angle, okay? Turning it back to 90 degrees. But what does that mean with our hips? We're not going to do that with our hips. We're not that flexible, obviously. So with our hips, though, we want to get those at 45 degrees. So I've laid one stick down right here, perpendicular to my target line. I laid another stick at a 45-degree angle, just to properly feel that good turn to my back side. Now, as you notice though, as I mentioned earlier, that center of mass, imagine that being kind of in the middle of your body. We want that to move as little as possible as we are transferring our weight to our back side, okay? The less this moves, the less you're gonna chunk, the less you're gonna thin, and all sorts of bad shots, okay? Keep that nice and centered. Now, how do we do that though? Well, I want you to kind of imagine that when we're taking this back, almost kind of like you're pulling a lawnmower. Okay, so if you took your stance like so, and I pulled that cord back, and I had to use a little bit of my lower body to get that tension to start it, well, my hip automatically starts going backwards, and I start to get that 45-degree angle. My shoulders now are coming with that, and now my left shoulder is pointing down at the golf ball, okay, or even slightly farther back of it. Now, this is that kind of off-season stuff that we talk about all the time in terms of flexibility and things. Hey, listen, everybody has limitations. They absolutely do. And it's your job to get with the PGA professional and his job to identify what those limitations might be. Okay, now for myself, I'm level 2 TPI certified. So when I see a restriction in somebody's swing, I'm going to send them over to our fitness professionals here and they're going to work on them during the off season because I want my students to be primed and ready to go when April hits and the season starts. So that's something to really pay attention to. The real players know that off-season score does not matter. It's about those physical limitations that we have to work on and get through. And a lot of those places we have to work on in the gym. But for the time being, and we're figuring out how to actually get this proper motion, we're going to use these alignment sticks as a guide. Now, for instance, when we're taking our backswing back, I think a major key that a lot of people overlook on this is where their pressure is in their trail foot. All right? So I'm lucky enough to have, or as a facility, Swing Catalyst dual force plates. These are phenomenal. They're so fantastic. And one of the main reasons why is because it does show you exactly where your pressure is at. So I think the common trend that I've seen most of the students, especially since we got these in over the last month or so, they're trying to get extra turn in their backswing. And anytime you try and get extra turn, we kind of tend to lose our angle, as we were doing earlier, and get it wrapped around our body like this. Well, then all of our pressure now is either on our back heel or it's rolling over on the outside of our heel like this. That's not stable at all. We have to feel very stable because when we get loaded this way, we have to be able to push off and hit it right back down towards our target. Our target is that way. It's not this way, okay? Remember that. That is too big of a turn in hopes of us transferring our weight. So you have to feel like that center of pressure is on the inside of your right foot as you're turning back this way. If you feel that pressure off the bat, you're automatically going to start turning and pivoting correctly. You're gonna feel your hip go backwards like this, get some depth. Now, a good thing to look at is if you've got a tall mirror, 6-foot mirror, something like that at your house, I want you to look at it just like this, as if it was looking down your fairway. Now, when you take your backswing and you're trying to get your hips to 45 and shoulders to 90, we go to the back of our swing, and I want you to look and even film sometimes and see if there's any space between both of these legs. Is there any space? Or can you not see any as you take it back? Okay, that's gonna be kind of a telltale sign that, hey, we might not have enough turn in our lower body that way, not get enough depth, and well, a lot of things can happen. One of those is coming over the top. Okay, so this is not only going to get us dropping in the slot, as they say, but it's gonna add some power. That's what we're looking for. You guys want power? There it is, all right? There's the power. Now, how do we load? How do we actually get on that backside? Now, loading and unloading are big pieces of the golf swing. So right now what we're talking about is unloading from our left side or our lead side to loading on our backside, okay? So what I mean by that is we have to offload our weight from the front side. How do we do that? Let's not overthink it. One of the easiest ways to do that is to bend this front knee, okay? So as you're taking it back and you're feeling that pivot, have a little more bend in this front knee. That will inherently straighten your back leg a little bit, okay? And that's okay, that's how it goes. But automatically it offloads this front side and gets more weight ready to rock and roll on your backside. Now, it's very hard sometimes to see this exactly, and that's why I do love our pressure plates in here, because we can see exactly where our center of mass is and exactly where our center of pressure is in each foot. But for the time being, just feel like you're nice and balanced. Feel like you're nice and balanced as you're pivoting back and that knee is going forward and your right knee or trail leg is straightening up a little bit. Now, I did say a little bit. I'm not talking about a locked straight knee. And the reason why is a lot of people, when they get locked straight knees, now all of a sudden we're not unloading this front side, we're adding more weight to it. And so what will happen is you'll end up tilting backwards and kind of doing the opposite of what we're trying to do, which is get our weight from the back to the front while pivoting correctly, okay? So once we have that feeling and we offload from our front side to our trail side, we're feeling great. Then you're feeling your shoulders turn more and more here, trying to get to that 90-degree angle, okay? These are reps. There's a lot of reps that go into these type of moves. Don't ever forget that. Again, that's why we're doing winter work, right? All right, so we offloaded that way. We felt good. We got our weight on our right side. Now we're loaded on our trail side. But what happens if you've got really limited spine mobility, T-spine? I do. A lot of people do. Well, here's a good kind of TPI exercise that'll kind of unlock your spine. So what you want to do is put your club over your shoulders like this. From this position, I want you to turn back as far as you can, okay? And then stop. Once you turn back as far as you can and stop, I want you to side bend like this, okay? Go back up, start from the beginning. Now take it back again and see how much farther you went. Bend down, come back up, face front. One more time. Turn to your right, bend down, back up, straight away. What you're gonna notice is it unlocks your spine, really starts working on that mobility. This is a great exercise to do on a daily basis. Wake up, make it part of your routine. Same thing with hip flexor mobility. Do some foam rollers and hip exercises to loosen those up as well. So start off with warming up that way, hips, lower body, then upper body, work on your twists and bends. Okay, so both of those things are gonna put us right in the great move to get nice and loaded in our backhand side, but feeling nice and stable. So make sure you lay down your grid just like I did right here. We've got one going towards our target line. We've got one pointing right at our golf ball. That's represented for our shoulders. And we have the other line at a 45-degree angle for our hips. So shoulders 90, hips 45. Shoulders 90, hips 45. We're unloading the front and loading the back, right? As we're feeling that pressure nice in the middle inside of our foot. Master these moves, you're gonna feel very stable, get properly loaded, and blast that golf ball the farthest and straightest you've ever done. So there you have it. We talked about how to get our shoulders to 90, hips to 45, how to properly pivot while keeping nice and balanced in our swing. Be sure to like and subscribe to Team KSG for weekly content. We'll see you next week for another video.